First of all, what are some of your takeaways from those first two games, what you saw from the team?
A lot of positives. Our main group was really good. Game one, obviously, I think we're up 14 when we took those guys out against a really, really good team. So that was positive. And I thought game two with guys out, it was more of like a Nicola, Jamal trying to find the rhythm, much more aggressive to shoot it as opposed to moving it side to side like in game one, which we wanted to see. I think, the second half's got away from us. The one thing about this whole preseason, when guys come in and they're going to be Exhibit 10s, they're going to play in the G League, whatever they may be, they have to take that challenge of who they're going to play. Boston decided to play their guys longer, not to mention their second unit a little bit longer in the fourth quarter. So they got to play against the real thing, and sometimes they can get away from you. So good learning experience for them. But overall, major positive. I have no idea what day it is or what time it is right now, but it was a good basketball experience over there.
So the team had 20 plays in transition in the first half in that first game. Is that frenetic energy of the first preseason game, or do you think that's a point of emphasis and you were seeing it in that game?
It's a point of emphasis. We looked at our last 2 years. I know last year, I think the stat was, I'm sure coaches said it, 16 points in fast break when we win, 10 when we lose. We've got to run efficiently. We did not run very efficient in that game one, but we did get opportunities. We've added pieces this year that can push the ball, find easy baskets. So it is a point of emphasis. We just have to keep working on it.
A bigger picture question. When you have the Northwest Division last year finish 1, 2, 3 in the West, how important are divisional games? I know that's easy to say, but I mean, how vital are they? For
us, they're huge because, like you said, it's so different than it used to be with the 6 divisions, but some divisions are different than others. And winning our division or, being in that top 3 probably means you're in the top 5, at least in the West, the way things shook out last year and the way they look this year. So, we have to have a focus when we play those teams. Obviously, game one is against one of them. It's an unbelievable division with, all different styles of play. It's a great challenge for us.
Coach, how could a trip like this maybe help a team in terms of bonding and cohesion? Obviously, it was an extended trip with activities on and off the court.
Yeah. It goes a long way. And I think when you have new people, it kind of force feeds communication. You're eating together, you're on buses together. For those of you that were there, it was like we had every type of transportation you could think of to get around. And you were with a plethora of different people, not just with the players, but staff, support staff, media. We're all together in it. So, it's kind of a family bonding thing. It's a long way to go to do a family bonding thing, but it really was. It was a good experience.
Coach, Russell Westbrook has very specific skills, very different skills than maybe some bench guys had last year. Just what goes into building a group around him and then maybe building an offense that's successful around him?
I think it's the other guys. They have to take advantage of what he naturally has and what he's brought to our game in the NBA for a long time. You have to be willing to run with him, space correctly for him, because, he's a guy that can get in the paint and create for other people, but that's not just on him to do that. That's the group's responsibility. I thought we saw some growth throughout the trip, and honestly, in the scrimmages here before we left, you saw some positives moving that way, and we're trying to find the right group that can fit. We have to get time with him playing with some of the starters too, because he's going to be out there with those guys. But no, it's nice to bring a different element to our team. It brings something that we can work on, talk about, and get better at with different skill sets that fit his game.
Julian was getting the rim a lot in the preseason. Just from what you've seen, is there something that shifted for him? Is he literally faster now? Is there a skill he's improving that's allowed him to do that?
I think he's always been able to get to his right hand and get to the paint. There's probably playing with the main guys more. There's more closeout situations maybe than he hasn't had in the past. He played with Nicola, Jamal, Michael, Aaron. There's going to be a lot of 2-on-1, 3v2 situations and the ball ends up in your hand, and now you have the advantage of somebody closing out to you. Not to mention with the second unit playing with Russ, with a rolling big sometimes with DJ, with the way Dario can play make. It's less separation, where if it's just catch and shoot plays and someone can lock in on his body, those situations don't happen as much. So it's good to see, and obviously he has a very efficient floater. If we can get him to that spot more often where he doesn't have to just be a shooter but be a scorer, which I really think he is, that's a major positive for us.
David, was Peyton able to do any more today than he was prior to the trip, or is he still pretty limited?
No, he did. He got through about half of practice. I know they're ramping him up slowly. Those injuries are the worst, the soft tissue stuff. But no, I was just talking to him. He's feeling a lot better. He actually got to some live stuff today. It wasn't 5-on-5, but close to it, some 3-on-3 stuff. So yeah, he's steadily progressing.
What does Christian Brown look like at his best when he's playing with that starting group?
Running the floor, filling lanes, cutting and moving off the ball. And I think for Christian, the most important thing is to keep shooting the ball when he's open. That's one thing in the NBA we talk about all the time. You can create something great, and a lot of times if you drive it and try to create the next thing, you already have what was great. You know, you're driving back into 7-foot people and athletes. So I think that's the next step for him, is to realize the guys trust him, and you know, if we create a great shot, go ahead and shoot it.
What is different about Michael Porter playing the 4 versus the 3? Is there a difference?
Schematically, there is spacing-wise, and you know, for us, with the traditional 4 that we have in Aaron, we space like teams did 10 years ago, whereas when Mike's out there, it's different. It's more of a spread lineup, obviously. So it changes some of your alignments. It's nothing tricky, but I think it's the other 4 guys have to get used to it more, where they know Aaron's going to be in the baseline a lot. He takes up that space so well. And with Mike, it'll be just as positive, but just in a very different way. And, you know, some of your play calls are different. It makes the 3 and the 2 have to react to something that you call for a 4. But besides that, it's a good transition when he's been out there as a 4.
Is there something specifically you look for him to do more of when he's in that role?
Yeah, I think he can get into more double drags where he can be a screener and then be an active stretch guy and pick and roll. You know, you can use him as a screener, as a decoy, and then bring him back off picks. What you see a lot of these teams do around the league that have these guys that can really shoot it. And again, it's for Mike, it's a transition because he's played the 3 for us for years, won a championship playing the 3. So just more about reps and everybody getting used to each other out there.